Does this sound like you? Help! I've been in Zoom hell. I can't take one more meeting in Zoom. Trust me, I know the feeling. You're listening to the Master Your Lens podcast, episode 175.
Hey, John Lee Dumas here, the founder and host of EO Fire, and welcome to the Master Your Lens podcast, the photography podcast dedicated to sharing inspiring stories, technical tips, and powerful secrets to help you become a better photographer. And now, your host, Matthew Jordan Smith.
Hello, Photography Nation. My God, it has been a really insane time. I know I missed last week's episode of the Master Your Lens podcast, and please forgive me, but it was actually impossible to do the episode. September and October have turned out to be maybe the busiest months I've had in a decade. Which sounds weird, right? Because here we are, it's COVID-19 time. People are at home. Well, many people anyway. But even if you're not at home, you're not working the way you were in the past. You're definitely not traveling the way you were in the past. And you'd think we'd have more time. And maybe we did at the beginning of this year when things changed. But it's not that way now. It seems the entire world has gone virtual. Virtual meetings, virtual workshops. You get it. Everything's virtual. On one hand, it's really cool that we can do this now. I had to stop and think about that the other day because we can all connect wherever we are, anywhere in the world, and that is absolutely incredible. This is normally the time when I'm traveling quite a bit, going back and forth to New York and LA for different workshops, speaking, and of course shooting. But now we can't travel. Well, now we can't travel internationally anyway. This is probably the first time I've gone so long without traveling in my career. And it's not just me, like almost everyone I know has stopped traveling. I have friends who've been traveling 30, 40 years for work. And this is the first time in their lives, in their professional life, when they haven't traveled. On one hand, that feels odd, but on the other, it actually feels good to be home for a while. I've never known what it feels like to live in Japan nonstop, and now I do. And I've got to say, I love it. Maybe you love being home too, right? Feels good. Getting into a pattern, getting into a flow, that kind of feels good. Well, I'll be glad when I can get into that flow. Since September 1st, I feel like I've been running on not just one treadmill, but 3 treadmills at the same time. As you all know, if you've listened to the podcast, that I had my big exhibit in Kyoto at the beginning of September. That was a month ago. Ever since it ended, things have been a bit insane. I've done 3 workshops, all taking place basically at the same time, and all demanding all attention, which is impossible, of course, but they were all consuming. The first one was the Sue Bryce Portrait Masters Workshop, which was absolutely amazing. I hope you were able to attend. If you missed it, you can still go and order the workshop. It was very well done. In many ways, maybe even better than being there in reality. It's kind of funny how that's happening now, how some things that were live have gone virtual, and they're so much better. I mean, yes, we all miss seeing people in person, but the fact that so many people have pivoted and done it so well is pretty astonishing. So to Sue Bryce and the entire Portrait Masters team, bravo on a job well done. I mean, that workshop was absolutely amazing. At the same time as the Sue Bryce workshop, I was doing one for a small camera store in Los Angeles through the Creative Photo Academy. That was a 3-week workshop, also all-consuming. But if I put all of those together, the Sue Bryce workshop and the Creative Photo Academy, that wouldn't come close to the time needed to create the Eddie Adams Workshop. Now, the Eddie Adams Workshop takes place every October during the Columbus Day weekend. And this is the 33rd Eddie Adams Workshop taking place this year. But of course, this year, it's virtual. It's normally 4 super intense days. Your day starts around 6 o'clock in the morning and it ends around 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not kidding. And that goes on for 4 days. By the end of it, you are exhausted. But it's 4 days. It went virtual this year. But instead of 4 days, it's been 2 months. And very, very intense. Zoom meetings lasting 2 into 3 hours, twice a day. Definitely the most intense thing I've ever done in my life. And absolutely the most intense thing I've done this year. There were times I was wondering, why did I say yes to this? I had no idea it would be that intense and take up that much of my life. However, a funny thing happened. We started working with the students, and that's when everything changed. Now, we're all meeting online, and there are 10 students. And in my group, each of the students come from different places. Let me just give you a rundown. The first student comes from Russia, the next one in Israel, then Thailand, then Bangladesh, South Korea, India, Bangladesh again, Germany, Bangladesh again, and then Taiwan. Those are the students. Then there's a team, and there are 4 of us. I'm in Japan, and the other team members are all in the United States. Thank God they're all on the East Coast. But we all have to meet together and balance all those time zones. Not easy. And it's not just like one meeting, it's multiple meetings over and over and over again. But each of the students and each of the team members are dedicated, and we've all made it work. Sometimes being up in the middle of the night, sometimes super early in the morning. You get it. Really hard hours to juggle, but we made it work. And what has made it really rewarding is the fact that these students have really put in the work. Number one, they're chosen out of thousands of people. It's a big deal to be honored to be a student at the Eddie Adams Workshop. All the students are given an assignment, and then they're given a time limit to go out and shoot that assignment. Then we all meet together and we go through all the images. You heard me correctly. We go through all the images. The team makes comments, gives constructive criticism, and then we send them back out to shoot a second time, again with a time limit. They shoot and they come back and submit their work. And again, we go through the process of going through all the images. Now, in my team, we have an amazing producer, Josh Ritchie, incredible guy. Then we have a tech guru from NBC, John Makeley. And then we have the editor of editors, Sarah Lean, formerly of National Geographic. When it comes to editing, she's a master. So we're all juggling our schedules, trying to get together and do this work. Everybody's making a huge sacrifice of their time. Now, all of us have other things going on. There's life going on. There's work going on. And for some people are even moving in the midst of this. Really hard to juggle, but everyone's making it work. Why? because we are helping to mold the next generation of photographers. And that's a great feeling. So these 10 students, they go out and shoot the second time. They submit all their work, and then we go through and edit the work down. We take out the chisel and start cutting away, trying to make their masterpiece. This process is like nothing else I've ever experienced in my career. I've been shooting for 30 years. I've never been able to sit down with a master editor from one of the top publications in the world and side by side edit the work. Now, last year, Sarah Lean and I were like side by side the entire time. This year, we're doing it virtually. And I have to say, it is the most rewarding thing to do. I mean, this is why we're all doing it, to really help shape and mold that next generation of photographers, to help them see what they can't see on their own, give them guidance, and help them make careers. Now, the Eddie Adams Workshop is really focused on photojournalism because Eddie Adams was a photojournalist. But I gotta say, it is incredible, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. It's been worth it. And now we're almost at the finish line. This weekend, the workshop launches. Now, yes, we've done all the heavy lifting, but still, there will be a lot that happens online, and they're still calling for us to be involved in every single way during the 4 days of this workshop. It will take place during East Coast hours, which is middle of the night for me, so I'll try to get in as much as I can live, but we'll see how things go. I know you're working hard too, and maybe you're wondering why you're working so hard. But there is the other side. For me, it's being a part of developing the next generation in whatever way I can, helping to build people. All these workshops, that's what it's been about, helping others get to their next level, figure it out, understand problems, and figure out how to get past those problems. If you have not gone to a virtual workshop, or taking a virtual class, or a workshop, or a course, this is the time for you to get into one right now. There's a lot available. I know, there's also a lot of crazy things happening all around us. All of the events that are going on this month in October are just too insane to even talk about, so I won't. But you know, they're crazy, right? I mean, who could make this stuff up? Even if I was a writer on the craziest show out there, I couldn't imagine the things that are going on right now. So how do you not go crazy during this time? Give yourself to yourself. Before you give yourself away to the world, before you take in all the craziness, do something for you. That's your education as a photographer. Invest in you. Get into a class. Get into a workshop. Feed yourself with as much information as you can. You must shoot all the time. Even if you don't have someone to photograph, get out and shoot. It's going to make you feel better. Trust me. Oh, I forgot one more thing. On top of these 3 intensive workshops, I've also been doing another course. That's right. I've just made another course. I'll tell you all about that next week. Until then, get into a workshop, get into a class, learn all you can. This is how we all grow together. All right, Photography Nation, the week is not done, and yes, I still have a few more intensive Zoom sessions for the Eddie Adams Workshop. I'll be glad when I can go back to my regular life and just have my normal Zooms. We have a lot coming up over the next few months. If you are in America, get out and vote. If you're voting by mail, get your ballot in. Mine came 2 weeks ago, and I filled it out right away and mailed it off. What about you? All right, until next week, have a great week. Stay sane. Always dream big. Bye for now.